Richie was bored at school. He thought about how great it would be to play cyberpunk. He wished he could skip school and just nerd out all day. Richie, stop banging on your desk. Richie wanted to put the ball in his pocket, but he felt for some matches in his pocket, and a wicked idea occurred to him. He broke half a tennis ball into small pieces, carefully wrapped them in paper, tied them with string, and lit them on fire. The cone began to smolder, and acrid, choking smoke billowed out. "What were you thinking, idiot? Why did you light a smoke bomb right in the classroom? You're nothing but trouble, may the FOXOBRA eat you." It was no wonder Richie was scared at the word FOXOBRA. Recently, people had started disappearing in their town. There was talk of an SCP monster appearing in their area. We received information that a student went missing this morning on his way to school. An eyewitness was found. "Tell me what you saw." "I was relaxing as usual after a heavy party. This guy, so cheerful, was passing by. And suddenly this monster, a FOXOBRA, ran out from around the corner. It tossed the boy in the air and swallowed him." "What nonsense are you talking about?" "When I served in the army at a chemical facility, we were constantly testing chemical weapons. One day on a day off, the scientists went to watch a series on Kinopus HD, and they left me to keep an eye on their lab. But I didn't want to miss the new episode, so I quietly left my post. While I was watching the series, something exploded in the lab. Because of this accident, a similar creature appeared at our base. It was still very small back then. SCP Foundation employees arrived. They tried to catch it, but the FOXOBRA proved cunning. It managed to escape. The police deny the existence of the FOXOBRA. We don't know what's going on. According to eyewitnesses, an unknown creature resembling a forest and a cobra is swallowing residents of Roblox. It's still unclear whether this is true or not. We interviewed a former SCP Foundation employee. "When I was young, the SCP Foundation received information about the appearance of a new monster, dangerous to the inhabitants of our planet. We arrived at the site of the object, but we were unable to capture it. Pieces of this creature's skin were found at the crash site. DNA testing showed that the monster is 50% cobra and 50% fox. Apparently, chemical weapons were being tested at the military base and something went wrong. For many years, we tried to catch the FOXOBRA, but it always managed to escape. I suspect that the victims it swallows don't die, but are kept somewhere. One day, we investigated the scene. A teenager went missing, but he suddenly called his parents. The connection was poor, but we clearly heard the words, 'It's dark here, skeletons.' And then the call ended. Perhaps the FOXOBRA is forcibly keeping its victims somewhere. In the end, we weren't able to gather enough evidence to catch this cunning monster. SCP leadership was displeased. Our department was disbanded. Come tomorrow with your parents, we'll expel you from our school." Richie trudged home in a bad mood. He could already imagine his father beating him. But when he got home, he realized his parents had other things to think about. "Your sister is missing. She went to a music show and never came back. A FOXOBRA probably ate her." We went to the police, but they told us they wouldn't start looking for Lily until 24 hours after she disappeared. And that FOXOBRA didn't exist. Richie was worried about his sister. Something had to be done. He called his friends and arranged to meet them at their secret location. My sister is missing. Maybe a FOXOBRA is to blame. I have to find her. Maybe she's alive. Richie had good friends. They immediately agreed to help him find his sister. According to plan, Richie returned home, grabbed binoculars and supplies for a few days. Son, where are you going? Don't worry. Mom, I'll be fine. I'll be back soon. When the friends met again at their secret spot, they were fully armed. Kid took his father's video camera, and Donut took a strong rope and a flashlight. The boys went to the area where the forest cobra was most often seen. No one lived in that area anymore. The old houses were supposed to be torn down. We need to find a place from where we can watch the fox cobra. No one lived in that area anymore. The old houses were supposed to be torn down. We need to find a place from where we can watch the fox cobra. This is the house. Its windows overlook the entire road in both directions. Not far from the house, they stretched a rope and drove wooden stakes into a hole in the yard. Night fell. The boys sat in the abandoned house and listened to every rustle. Nearby, they heard what seemed to be the hiss of a snake. They looked out the window and saw this SCP monster, the fox cobra. Malloy took out a video camera and started filming. Fox cobra moved quickly from bush to bush, from house to house. The boys were very scared. Let's take the video to the police. They quietly left the house and wanted to leave the dangerous area. As they were leaving, a fox cobra blocked their way. And the fox cobra began to hiss threateningly, "Run back." The friends ran as fast as they could. Fox cobra chased them. Not far from the house, Richie and Malloy jumped over their rope, and Donut tripped and fell. He quickly realized what had happened and ran into the bushes. Malloy looked around for the donut and fell into his own trap. Richie ran into the house. Fox cobra followed him. He hid in a corner, in the back room. He could hear the fox cobra wandering around the house. With trembling hands, he took out his phone and started a live stream on YouTube. Attention, who's watching me now? My friends and I are in a deserted part of town. We're being stalked by a fox cobra. It's true. It exists. The fox cobra entered the room. He turned the phone so viewers could see the monster. The stream didn't last long. The fox cobra swallowed Richie. Donut helped the kid get out of the pit while he had the chance. They fled the dangerous area. Along the way, they encountered the cops patrolling the streets at night. The guys tried to tell them what happened, but the cops didn't believe them. "Hey, man, wake up. Who are you? And where are we? Is this hell?" "Yeah, kind of. We're inside the fox cobra." Video evidence has surfaced online. In front of the entire world, a fox cobra swallowed a schoolboy who was trying to catch it. He was broadcasting the footage live on YouTube. We interviewed the police chief. The residents of our city shouldn't panic. This is all a montage. I repeat once again that the fox cobra doesn't exist. I started all this, and I have to stop it. I need to find an old friend. Hello, we have unfinished business. A guy named Tot helped Richie up. Their conversation was interrupted by the stomach guard. "What are you doing hanging out here? Run to work." They descended through the gloomy tunnels, lower and lower, until they reached a mine where giant eggs lay everywhere. He explained, "These eggs must be collected and put in a cart, otherwise they will be punished." The guard glared at them, and Richie set to work in fear. The mine was long and narrow. Stalactites hung from the ceiling, torches hung on the walls. Exhausted workers in dirty, torn clothes were collecting eggs. Occasionally, a guard would bring water. They fought over it, snatching bowls from each other. This resulted in a lot of water being spilled. The eggs were very heavy. Richie was tired and didn't realize how long he had been working. Finally, the guard called the end of the work. The workers sighed with relief and went to rest in their huts. "Follow me, my friend." They arrived at Todd's hut. Richie started asking questions about this place. He explained that many of them had been swallowed by the FOXOBRA, but some were born inside. They had lived here for many decades. It had its own laws and customs. There was its own emperor. This was the forest cobra's first victim. He had learned to extract food and water from the worm of the worm's belly through sacrifice. Every Friday, the emperor gives away a chair of residence, and in return, the worm gives us eggs and water. These are his tiers. To survive, we must work hard for the very first ones swallowed. They're like the elite here, living in beautiful houses, with their own farms and workers. Why aren't you trying to get out of here? The emperor says it's completely impossible. Deal with it, bro. I didn't think my carelessness would cause so much trouble. This can't go on. We must neutralize this monster and save the residents of Roblox. I found out everything. The boy was streaming from this very spot. We can begin the operation. I'm ready. Let's go. Another egg collection was finished. It was unclear whether it was the next day or a continuation of yesterday. Inside the Cobra Forest, there was no time or day. "Hey, you, take a couple of eggs to the chief prosecutor." Richie hadn't been to the elite district of the stomach yet. These houses were different from the slums. They walked through a beautifully appointed cave, and he told them about the inhabitants of these houses. Suddenly, Richie saw his sister behind the fence of one of the estates. Lily, Richie, help me. They're making me feed the pigs and shovel manure. Get me out of here." Quote. Richie tried to help his sister over the fence. The owner of the house ran out and grabbed the frightened girl. Richie lost his temper, climbed over the fence, grabbed a stone, and hit the offender. The guards came running at the noise, but the boys were already gone. The victim came to and told them the criminal's description. A rat sniffed the crime scene and took off after the tracks. "Why did you do this? Now they'll look for us. I couldn't abandon my sister in trouble, don't you understand?" Quote. The guards' footsteps were heard. The rat quickly located the fugitives. The chief guard entered the closet, ordered everyone to crouch down and crawl to the dungeon. "This is the place. FOXOBRA lives in this area. We'll act according to plan." Quote. Borman settled in on the second floor. Oh, Grandpa went outside, turned on the tape recorder and began to wait to be swallowed by the forest cobra. But nothing happened. The monster did not appear. He felt a heavy gaze on him and turned around. The whole time, the fox cobra had been watching him from the alley. Grandpa was scared, but he collected himself and moved towards her. If you run towards a fox cobra, it runs away from you. Try running from it. Apparently, that's the peculiarity of this monster. Grandpa stood back up and started yelling. The fox cobra peeked out from around the corner. Grandpa ran away from it, and it gave chase. In a few seconds, the fox cobra caught up with him and ate him. Come in, Grandpa. Are you alive?" "Yes, I'm inside the fox cobra. They didn't notice me. I'm going to scout." Stealthily creeping along the walls, deep into the stomach, Grandpa heard screams and noise. The Emperor sat with his retinue in the central square. Below, a hungry crowd rejoiced. The worm belly was preparing to feed. That Carl and Lily were crying in their cage. "Oh, great worm belly, accept these naughty children as sacrifices and give us replacement eggs and tears." The guards grabbed the children and led them to the leaf belly. Grandpa was shocked by what he saw, but he didn't lose his composure, lit the dynamite, and rushed to attack. Get away from them. At the sight of the dynamite, the guards scattered. Grandpa threw the dynamite with all his might and hit the leaf belly right in the mouth. Oh, no, now we'll all die of hunger. Kill them. Somewhere at this time, the children were already running towards the throat of the forest cobra. Suddenly, Grandpa panicked. Where's my backpack? There were smoke bombs in there. You must have lost it in the explosion. Guys, I have a piece of a tennis ball. It will smoke just as well as a smoke bomb. They fashioned a homemade smoke bomb, lit it, and threw it closer to the throat. Meanwhile, SCP personnel were searching the area and couldn't find the fox cobra. You said you found the fox cobra. I called in all our armed forces, but there's no one. You've messed up again. Wait, according to the plan, Grandpa is supposed to detonate the smoke grenades, and we'll find her quickly. Suddenly, smoke billowed out of the bushes nearby. A fox cobra jumped out, twitching and banging its head. DN was pouring out of every crevice. Snipers started firing tranquilizers, but it didn't help. Then they brought in heavy equipment. Finally, the monster passed out. Borman shoved a rope into the fox cobra's mouth. The guys were saved. It's easier to get in than out. You just need to eat less. The FOXOBRA was sent to the SCP Foundation. While she was sleeping, background personnel snuck in and began evacuating the inhabitants from her stomach. The evacuation took about 2 days. 857 souls were saved. The Emperor was arrested and imprisoned for sacrificing himself, and the FOXOBRA was placed in a special cell for further study.